of Veterans Day tomorrow, the Siouxland Freedom Park Brigadier General Bud and Doris Day Interpretive Center officially opened its doors, bringing together veterans from all walks of life and many eras of combat. KTIV's Matt Hoffman tells the story of veterans and their supporters who fought hard to bring this project to completion.
For us Vietnam veterans especially, recognition was a long time in coming, but it's finally here. It always seems to come around.
That's John Ludwig, the post commander of the American Legion in South Sioux City, describing his thoughts when members of the Chamber of Commerce cut the ribbon on the Interpretive Center. And Ludwig is not alone.
Come by and see this as a way to honor the veterans that have served. It's another wonderful memorial for people to see.
The Interpretive Center really tells the story of all eras of military veterans, and Friday's ribbon cutting really connected some of those eras. From a service member who served in Vietnam to someone who was inside the Pentagon on 9/11.
But we could hear the cries of the individuals that were trapped inside. And the guys in the back of the line were using the fire extinguishers over the heads of the people in front of them to keep the flames off them. But we had dripping jet fuel coming down on top of us at the same time.
The Interpretive Center builds on the replica Vietnam and Korean War memorials already in the park. Official hours are still being determined, but the center will be open this weekend from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday and 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday.
With grants, with some fundraising, with some donations, and even just the nickels and dimes and quarters from the school kids. Everybody has contributed to this, all across Siouxland in the greater region.
Many veterans say the Interpretive Center brings them some peace, knowing they're seen and their stories will live on. In South Sioux City, Nebraska, Matt Hoffman, KTIV News 4.